characteristics of the city is sort of just like broken up by hills. You know, you go like down into this valley, you know, where this looks really nice. And in West Virginia, we have a lot of racist cops. And in Cincinnati, the cops just love to beat the shit out of black people. And there was a riot in the 21st century because of the racist cops. Like, who has race riots in the 21st century? Didn't we get past this shit in America? I guess I gotta say something about Skyline Chili if I'm gonna stay on Cincinnati. Here's the thing, I struggled with this part of the bit. Like, I couldn't really come up with good Cincinnati stuff. I was like, well, I gotta talk about Skyline, and I don't really have a punchline, it's just like, Skyline. It's like spaghetti, they pour some dog food over it, there's like chocolate and cinnamon, and fuck all knows what else, and then they put this goddamn like neon orange shredded cheese on it. And you go late at night, you eat it drunk, it's horrible coming down, it's horrible coming back up or coming out, whichever way, it's bad food. Now, I was going to make a few jokes about the Bengals, but if you remember my whole rule about the disabled and actually, there's a lot of folks here I respect tonight. My wife, some friends of hers, Judge Sargis, my wife. So I'm a little nervous about this next part, but anyhow. Obviously, I've got a lot of balls, like making fun of any other place being from West Virginia, right? I get that. And, there's not a lot to do in West Virginia. I remember sort of before I moved up here to Ohio a few years ago, it was just sit around. So we go to the strip bar a lot, right? And it wasn't so much that we liked the strip bar, we were just all going through a really big Nickelback phase at the time. Much like modern American composers and the nice symphony hall in Cleveland, you really, if you want to experience the gestalt of Nickelback, you want to listen to it in a strip bar in West Virginia. So anyhow, this one time, we go to the strip bar, and you kind of know what you're going to get coming in. As exploitive as it is for women, it's equally exploitive for men. Fat, ugly men especially. And so, I'm sitting there, not there very long, and this, very nice young lady comes up and just starts pestering me for a lap dance. And so I say, sure, okay, right? I'll get it out of the way now. And then, they'll know that I bought one, and it won't bother me for a little bit. So I pay the guy, go back there, and I'm sitting there, I'm very uncomfortable. The strip bar lap dance pose, because Seth knows what I'm talking about. Sort of tuck your hands under your knees and just kind of sit very rigidly, and anyhow. And then midway through the first song, this girl, it's like leans her head back by my ear, her mouth's by my ear, and it's like this very throaty voice. She's either trying to be very sexy or she was like a 4-pack-a-day smoker. And she was like, I'll give you a hand job for $50. And I was stunned into silence. I did not know how to answer that. And apparently the contract law of West Virginia strip bars is not so well developed, because I'm silent for a couple seconds and she took that as acceptance and then just reached down my pants and just starts tugging away. And I am mortified, right? First off, I'm exploiting this girl, so I'm obviously not going to pay for it. Secondly, I'm embarrassed. My Little League baseball coach is on the couch next to these two girls. It was a small town. The third, and worst of all, is that I was getting a hand job. A little aside now, I think the gentleman here will appreciate this. Nobody wants a hand job. Well, on any given day, I promise, you come up to me and say, Travis, you can have $5 or a hand job. 10 times out of 10, I am taking that $5. I'm going to take that $5, I'm going to walk across the street to Panera, I'm going to get a cup of coffee, sit out on the patio, read the paper, have a very pleasant 10 minutes. And instead of a very uncomfortable and embarrassing 47 seconds. So I'm getting this hand job, and Nothing is happening. It is painful, mortifying. Oh, by the way, one more side, ladies. I'm a little bit older, law student, give you a little bit of life advice about this. If you're with a guy, boyfriend, husband, professor, and he says, you know, you give really great hand jobs. You end that relationship right then. Because he is lying to you, because men do not like hand jobs. And any relationship that is built on deceit and hand jobs is destined to end in sorrow. So it's like Chad Kroger's like tender voice is like playing out the last strings of Hero from the Spider-Man soundtrack. It's like the second song in like the 3-song lap dance package. Well, I mean, at least this is almost over. At least we were down to like the last song. And I'd be goddamned if it wasn't American Pie. Like who plays American Pie in a strip bar, right? But I mean, you know, also, like, as long as American Pie is when some obnoxious asshole's doing it at karaoke night, it is so much longer when you're getting a hand job in the back room of some horrible West Virginia strip bar. Now, the story doesn't reflect well on me, but I want to explain why I told it. Coming to the end of it here, Moritz College of Law, you know? And you struggle to like put your experience into some kind of a framing metaphor. And then you think about getting tricked into buying a 3-song lap dance at some horrible West Virginia strip bar. And you go in with a little bit of optimism that somehow this will be better than everything you've ever heard about a 3-song lap dance. And that quickly turns to some mix of boredom and despair. Somewhere around the second act, it gets so much worse. You start to suffer through an unlubricated hand job in the back of a West Virginia strip bar. And then as the light at the end of the tunnel starts to draw near, knowing there's only one more song that you have to get through to get out, it's 8 minutes of fucking American Pie. Yeah, I'm going to turn 30 in a couple weeks, and you look back again and you're very introspective, and I can honestly say that my 3 years here at Moritz has been the 7th or 8th best 3 years of my life. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Travis. For those that attended last year's comedy night, we had a lot of young kids, and it's a good thing that none of them came back. So, our next guest performer is a lone one out, but probably the most experienced comedian at Moritz. Please hand it up for Brooke Cardis.
I gotta tell you why I chose this song. The judge left, didn't he? Did the judge leave? Yeah. Good. Okay. Can I tell you why I picked that song? That is by the artist Drake. You're welcome, if you don't know who that is. And the song's great. It started from the bottom, now we're here. It's about how Drake came up from the ghettos of Canada to find his career as an R&B crooner in America. I love that, right? Started from the bottom, now we're here. I started with a 401k and a full-time job. Now I'm here. Pretty good. Yeah. Now I'm tens of thousands of dollars in debt with no future. So that's cool. sober. I don't do this sober normally. Put your hands together for yourselves for being here this long. This is amazing. This is like sitting through Shane's con law without a computer. Blue section knows. I really do appreciate everyone being here. I know finals are coming up. I wrote a lot of jokes about law school, and then I realized, like, we took that character and fitness seminar a couple weeks ago, so I had to cut all those jokes I wrote for you guys. But I do have some interesting observations. First of all, you cannot ask me what kind of lesbian I am. On the off chance you didn't know I was gay, gentlemen, don't let this haircut fool you. I like the ladies. Alright, you cannot ask me, boys. You cannot ask me which one in my relationship is the man. You can't ask that. That's not like a thing you can ask. If you do want to know, I will let you know right now. I'm not a lipstick lesbian. That's not a thing. That's a thing in porn. It's not a real life thing, okay? I am like a step below lipstick lesbian. I wear more practical shoes, and I'm more emotionally high maintenance. I'm like a chapstick lesbian. Step down. I get that question all the time. My poor girlfriend is here tonight. She's put up with a lot. There is nothing that can kill your sex life quicker than law school, except Netflix. Who wants to have sex after 5 hours of Dexter? Like, if you do, you have problems. You shouldn't be having sex. You should get a counselor. I like law school. Law school's made me very bitter, like more than normal. The best part about it is like how angry I get at perfectly like nice people. Like, I have friends on Facebook from my undergrad, and I'll check their statuses, and like I get mad that they're not studying. Do you know what I mean? I get aggressively vicious. Like one fucking idiot I went to undergrad with. She's like, I don't know what coffee shop I'm gonna go to knit scarves at today. That is not a real problem. My favorite one is like the worst. My favorite one is a girl I went to undergrad with, and she's just awful. And this is a real status. She said, gosh, am I the only girl out there who isn't making her own yogurt? Your biggest fucking problem in your life is you're not making your own yogurt? Go back to school. It's just awful. You hate everybody. I cry a lot now. A lot more than normal. I cry a lot. We had a really big problem with bullying actually this year, which I know we had, I think, like 13 seminars about, so that was cool. I didn't go to any of them. Here's what I think is so funny that we have a bullying problem, Moritz. Like, we could all close our eyes right now and play Heads Up, 7 Up. And say, how many of us were bullied in the 3rd grade? And every fucking one of your hands would go up. We're all the dorks. We're all right here. Dorks bullying dorks is like a really bizarre circle jerk of misery. So you're like, we can't even do it right. We can't even do it right, guys. We're like, oh my God, you didn't know about North Korea? we bully about like, you didn't read that amicus brief? We suck at it, so stop! We all got treated like shit growing up. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. I do like crying. My favorite, like my top 3 places to cry at this point. So you need a top 3, guys, because sometimes the 1 and 2 they don't work out. Or professors' offices when they have a meeting to go to. You should try it. They're super nice. They're like really great. One gave me $5. Like they just want to get you out. Like the hand job thing. Weird. Here we go. I got a better way to make $5. Ruin a professor's day. They will just get you out there. But like the funniest part about crying with professors, if you want to have like a serious talk about where your life is going and how stressed you are, this is what they say. This is what all you say. Your professors, you're like, I've been there. I know what it's like. I went to law school. Like, really? You know what it's like? You went to law school at Yale. Where you were number 1 in your class. You can relate to me. You alcohol problem like me. And try super hard. Oh yeah. Like, I know what it's like when you write your 5th textbook and it just doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, you know? The foreword, there was a typo, I wrote to my niece, and it went to my nephew, and now, just cancel the night, just cancel. Cancel the gala. So, you don't know me, so, no. They're just brilliant, they're all brilliant, and it's just, they try to relate, and they just can't. Like, it's just not what they can do. And that's okay, that's okay. I know I'm the only woman, so I have to spend some time on lady things. Ha! I have a pretty, like, personal vendetta that I want to tell you guys about. I haven't even gotten to my set. How am I doing on time? Super good? Good. No outlining for you tonight, Moritz. You're welcome! Like, I have a really, really strong hatred for Victoria's Secret. To a point where, like, I've started burning songs. Like, it's getting to that point, you know what I mean? And the reason I've gotten so mad, and I know Les Wexner, that's his name, right? Yeah, I'm not from here, guys, so just cut me some slack. I got some dirty looks. Like, yeah, that's him. He donated $100 billion to OSU, not to us, we don't care. So, I want to like write him a really strongly worded letter, and he won't accept my phone calls or my mysterious packages. So, I have to get this out here. Here's my frustration with Victoria's fucking Secret. First of all, I went to spend a gift card, which I got from my dad, which is a whole other issue. I think we can agree on that. We'll just leave that alone. We just won't even tackle that. So I got this Victoria's Secret gift card. I was like, I'm gonna spend it, we're gonna go. I'm gonna bring my girlfriend. We've been watching a lot of Netflix. Let's spice it up. That was a callback back to a previous joke. So, we go into Victoria's Secret, and I'm dragging her ass. She was like Ricky Ricardo, like she's just like super pissed about it. We get in there, I'm ready to spend my gift card, and there's like buckets of thongs. You guys want to? There's like in buckets, and you just just do like a hog. Hope you pull out your size. Here's the thing, you know what's in those bins? Size smalls, bitches. And guess what my size is? L. For lady. Yeah. All this. So, they don't have my size in there. They keep my girl sizes on the bottom, in a drawer, in the basement of the mall. So my ass is sticking out, my underwear's hanging out, I look for my size, I still can't find it. And an associate comes over. She says, can I help you? I was like, you can buy a consonant and go back to high school, sweet pea. But while you're here, I'm looking for my size. L. I can't even say large. I don't want to say it. She's like, well, actually, you're in luck. Our new thongs are one size fits all. Fucking true. Go there right now. I mean, go right now. This is a true thing that's happening in our city and in our country. This is why I'm in law school. I'm taking him home. What a dick he is. That's Wexner. So I'm like, oh great, this is perfect. I won't be able to get it past my hearing aids. It'll be like a knee warmer, a little extra piece of material in the middle. Wait, fuck you, Victoria's Secret. I am gonna do what every other self-respecting large woman does. I'm gonna buy a pair of sweatpants. I just went right over the sweatpants. Got some sexy sweatpants for $89.99. They say pink on the ass. But my butt's kind of big, so the I gets lost. So it just says punk. Not very sexy. It's like an onomatopoeia for a fart, isn't it? With my sweatpants. My girlfriend has left me at this point. She's playing Angry Birds outside of Victoria's Secret. Every self-respecting significant other. And she says, hey, congratulations, you spent over $65. You get a complimentary new one-size-fits-all thong. Oh, I tried it on, Columbus. Let me tell you right now. I tried that shit on. I get it home, and I'm like, you know when you start floating, you hear the noises of like the elastic breaking in the underwear? You know what I mean? All the guys are like, this happens? What is this? I'll tell you about Spanx later if you buy me a drink, guys. It's an optical illusion. You gotta see it naked. Then you'll know what you're getting into. Spanx are deceptive. Anyway, so I get it up and I'm like pulling up his underwear and it's like rolling down. I finally get it over my ham hocks and it's, I can say it's about me, so it's fine. Self-deprecating humor is in. I get it up and it's really me. It's pink and lace and sparkly. I think the 3 words you would use to describe me. Give it a chance. And I realized that the sparkles say something right across my crotch. You guys want to know what it said? Bombshell. But like, my muffin top is too big, so it just keeps rolling down. So just like right above my labia, it says shell. Just shell of a woman. That's where you leave me, Victoria's Secret. You guys even wonder why women are so screwed up. This is why. Yeah, it's an awful store. It's just the worst. I think it's not just that. I mean, women get it from everywhere. We get it from the media. There's this commercial out that destroys women's confidence in 30 seconds or less. It's actually really fascinating. It's not the new Dove commercials, but those are awesome. The new commercial, I'm going to tell you the exact text from it. I haven't even started outlining. That's how much time I spent on this joke. Everyone got real nervous. Like, shit, she didn't start outlining? Is she in my section? That's going to help that curve. This new commercial, this is the exact text from the commercial. Shows a woman in a coffee shop by herself. She's not very confident. They never are. And you hear the voiceover. It's like, see that man over there? He could be your husband, the father of your children, and the love of your life. But he has to say hi first. Crest whitening strips. Life opens up when you do. Okay? So all these crazy bitches are running out buying whitening strips and burning their gums off just so they can maybe creep a dude out at a coffee shop. So if a girl smiles at you and lose with burns all over her mouth, you know she used the whitening strips. It is tough there. It's tough. I did do online dating. I'm not gonna like take a poll in here of who did online dating. Because if you did, I've probably seen your profile, and we'll just talk later. Don't worry about it. I did do online dating. I realized, like, when I moved here from Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo. Everyone's like, why Buffalo from to Columbus? It's like, I just love secondary-sized cities with an obesity problem. Just love ranch. Put it on everything here, don't ya? Had some of my Diet Coke. It was delicious. And so when I first moved here, I was on OkCupid, and it was just interesting because I'm what we like to call a non-traditional student. Do you guys know what that is? Gay. No, it means I'm old. And I realized my age when I was on OkCupid. This girl messaged me. I'm not going to tell you her whole screen name because that would be rude, right? I'm going to tell you most of it though. So, it was jsmooth_85. That's smooth with a V. Okay, so that's classy. I'll agree on that. So jsmooth messages me, and she's like, I'd really like to have you over for a bottle of wine, and maybe we could play some Scrabble, which for the record is not a metaphor. It's not like a lesbian metaphor for scissoring. Scrabble is just a game with the wooden squares. You know what I'm talking about? It's not a weird lesbian sex position. Or if it is. Cool. We'll learn about that later. So she messaged me, come over, it'll be super fun. And she had a really bizarre emoticon at the end of the message, and do you guys know what emoticons are? Because it's 2013, and you're humans. It's the smiley faces you can do on your phone. It was on a computer, and it was a wink eye, and then an open mouth O. It looks like this. Have you guys seen that before? Do you know what that is? Is it a lesbian code? Are there any lesbians in the audience? There's like 1.5 of you, so I know it's just stuff. I didn't know what it meant. And I was like, oh, maybe she's trying to flirt with me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Or maybe she's a stroke victim. Who's extremely accurate at emoticons. I always end on a stroke joke. So I think I'm gonna end on my stroke joke tonight. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, little spoiler alert, Brooke will be doing hosting comedy night next year. So we're in good hands. Our last student of the evening is a 3L and coming back to comedy night. Please let's hear it for Seth Chartish.
Too many people here saw me last year think I'm actually funny. Way too much pressure. Way too much pressure. Now, I tried before I came on stage. How's everyone doing tonight? Now, before I get to my jokes, I just wanted to talk about that. This night is, it's helping support PILF. It's a charity for PILF, and everybody who donates, PILF does a lot of good work in the community. And I just want to say, I just want to go down the list of everybody that your PILF money contributes to. So we've got here survivors of domestic violence, children of prisoners, victims of predatory lending, migrant farm workers, Native Americans, and people with developmental disabilities. I just want to say that tonight, I'm going to be making fun of every single one of those groups. That sound you just heard was Nikki Baczynski throwing up in her mouth. Oh my God. Well, thank you for the introduction, Mike. I gotta say, I like it when I'm not overly hyped when I get called up on stage. Like I've done other comedy shows, and sometimes people go like, really over the top, saying like, this is the funniest guy in the world, like you're all gonna laugh, give it up for Seth, blah, blah, blah. I hate that. I don't like that kind of pressure. Like, here's how I analogize it. Picture you've met a beautiful woman, and you take her back to your apartment, and you're just about to make love to her. And just as you're about to start, some guy bursts in the door and says, yo, this guy's great at having sex. He is the champion of Dickland. He is like the Michael Jordan of laying the pipe. You're gonna love this. Think about that. Like, he leaves and the girl's just like, honey, who was that? And why does he know so much about your dick? Speaking of sex, I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately because I'm a 3L. I'm not going to study the finals. And I was watching a nature show about salmon. Now salmon, live in the ocean most of the time, right? But when it's time for salmon to reproduce, it's time for them to spawn, they get like some sort of signal in their brain, and every salmon in the world swims back up the river, so like the lake where they all came from originally, to have sex. Like that's like they're just doing their fishy thing, then boom, they all just go back, and like something gets swished in their head. How much would that suck if that's how people worked? Like just picture, like you're playing basketball with your friends, you're just having a good time, and all of a sudden it's like, drive to Denver immediately and have sex. So did anybody here do the Oxford trip? Just curious. Oh, less than I expected. You're getting smarter. That shit's a ripoff. But I've also spent some time in the UK, and have any of you read any of the newspapers in the United Kingdom? Anybody? Okay. I have, and here's mind-blowing thing about UK newspapers, there's titties in them. I'm dead serious. Great Britain has what's known as like page 5 models, and it's just naked women, stark naked, on like the page 5 of all their newspapers. And that, to me, that's just like a bizarre concept. Like you're like, oh, let's see here. The Cubs lost again. Oil prices dropped. Oh, look at them titties. Like, that was completely catch me off guard. And like, I've told people about this, how weird it is to me culturally. And people say like, oh, you're just being a prude, it's fine, it's just part of a way to get people to buy newspapers. But turn that around. Would you be expecting to see news on a porno site? It's like, oh yeah, you're a dirty girl. Margaret Thatcher died. And yes, I talk to the screen while I watch porn. I am that person who yells at the movie screen in theaters. But like that's what I do when I watch porn. In fact, I start giving them advice. I got mad if they start screwing things up. Like, don't push it in so far. Don't push it in so far. Oh, come on. Speaking of advice, you know, you always hear people are saying like, I'm just giving friendly advice. You know, friendly advice. Whatever they say. But like that isn't all advice friendly. Like that's the point of advice. What the hell is unfriendly advice? It's like, hey, go jump in front of a bus. Or maybe I'm just thinking of it the wrong way. Like maybe it's like, hey, open a 401k, you asshole. Start saving for retirement now, dickface. Like that. Oh man. There's been a lot of news lately. A lot of news. It's not funny news either, so I'm not going to joke about that news, but there's some stuff I want to talk about regarding the news. Recently there was the marriage equality debate in front of the Supreme Court. As I'm sure some of you are aware, I know a lot of people here support marriage equality because you have brain stems. That's always refreshing. And I really, but I consider myself like an even-handed person, so I look through the arguments from the other side. Like, what arguments are there against supporting marriage equality? And a lot of them boil down to like, well, it's going to affect the quality of marriage now. You know, it's going to affect heterosexual marriage. It's, you know, there's going to be more divorces because of gay marriage. I'm like, how? The current divorce rate is 50%. 50%. That's literally, if you, at the wedding, if you go and flip a coin. Like, that's the outcome. It's literally just a coin flip. It's like, I now pronounce you man and wife. You may win. You may kiss the bride. That's... Alright. So the Spice Girls were really racist. I'm not joking around here. They named the black one Scary Spice. Like, what the hell is that? Like, if they had like a Hispanic Spice Girl, what should it be? Like Switchblade Spice? Manual Labor Spice? What were they thinking? You know, it's just absurd. And the other thing, like, I don't understand like the Spice Girls concept generally. Like, what are they, like Baby Spice, Story Spice? Like, I understand like performers have fake names a lot of the time. Like, you got like I don't know, Jay-Z or Elton John, Elvis Costello. Like, they have like stage names. I don't know, Professor Guy Rube. Come on. No one named you Guy Rub. Get out of here. Speaking of porno. But like the Spice Girls concept, I don't understand at all. Like, so it's like, they're describing what kind of spicy they are? Like no other band did this with their stage names. Like, think of like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Like their stage names didn't describe what kind of heartbreak they were. You didn't have like I don't know, on guitar, dumped by a text message. On bass, fuck your best friend. Backup vocals, secretly gay. Man, so I was sick a while back, and I had a lung infection, like a sinus infection thing, and they put me on the medication that like asthma inhaler stuff. And I was looking up like what the medication is, and it's a corticosteroid. It's a steroid, like the same thing like Barry Bonds used to hit all those home runs. And to me, that's what's in every asthma inhaler in the country. If you have long-term asthma, that's what treats it. So like, how come we aren't seeing like asthma-connected roid rage? Like, how come we aren't seeing like a bunch of nerds like, how can you say Mac OS is a superior operating system to Linux? That's why I needed the chair. That entire thing was just, that is the angriest and nerd. That's as far as I can actually throw the chair. It's as strong as I get. Oh my god. I was in a bar recently. I was meeting up with some old friends from high school. So it was like guys, girls, mixed crowd. And one of my female friends at the bar who was with us, this guy started hitting on her. And I swear to God, he hit her. His opening line was asking if she had ever read Lord of the Flies. That's a great strategy. Hitting on someone by asking them, hey, have you ever read about this book about child murder? Who does that? Like, I can't picture someone coming up. I can't picture like hitting someone at a bar. It's like, hey, you're a sexy thing. Why don't you come back to my place, drink some wine, and I'll slip in my DVD copy of Schindler's List. That is a terrible strategy. Okay. This next joke was given to me by a friend of mine. So if it sucks, it's her fault. But don't go like hunting her down or something. She lives in Los Angeles now, so she's already serving her penance. So I got a tube of toothpaste, and on the top of the tube of toothpaste was instructions: squeeze from top. I'm glad to know that the people who write instruction labels has hired everyone's Jewish mother. But honestly, like, why do they need these instructions? Like, squeeze from the top of the toothpaste down. Like, why do they need that? Like, did some guy seriously call them up and was like, how do I get this out? How do I solve this impenetrable mystery? Like the front, like, I just squeeze a little, and I can't get any more. It's bizarre. Speaking of bizarre, have any of you people been to the new Columbus Casino yet? I forgot, your law students are broke. Law professors, have any of you been to the new Columbus Casino? You have money. I don't like going to casinos for one reason: old people. I don't like seeing old people at casinos because why are they there? They're old. What are they going to spend their money on? Like, are they going to get like gold-plated rims for their Scooter Rascal thing? No. Are they going to start filling their oxygen tanks with pristine alpine air? You know, maybe you can come back and say, well, they're going to spend the money on their grandkids and their kids. If they liked their kids, they wouldn't be at the casino. It's like, let's see here. I can spend my golden years surrounded by loved ones, regaling them with stories of my youth and giving them that important family history that they need to carry our line on. Or I can double down on this ace-10 split while getting a drink from a floozy. Hippie dealer! We had a lot of good comedians here in front of me. I think we should all give them one more round of applause. Tom, I like your bit about drinking out of jugs being like the most classy way to drink. It was good. One thing you forgot to mention though, why drinking out of jugs is awesome. It's the only thing you can drink, and then it becomes a musical instrument. Once you're done with it, you're like 1/3 away from starting a band. Get yourself a washboard and some spoons. You're right there. You'll be a smash hit in Kentucky. Travis talked about starting that organization, CHEW, the organization for heavyset law students. I was actually going to join that organization if you went through with it. Yeah, because every organization at Moritz needs a token member who is not actually part of that group. So like Rob Roble in Balsa, Justin Tilson in the Latino Law Society, Tony Subcatcow in the Asian Law Society. Tony, you grew up in Oklahoma. We just know, you just take off the wig. We know you're blonde hair and blue eyes and everything. Come on. And I can't read my own name. It's problem trying to write jokes while you're sitting there. It doesn't work all that well. All right, I'm just gonna skip to something very special for you all right now. What this is whenever I think of something funny, I immediately ignore it and tell the jokes you're hearing tonight. But the thing is, like, I write stuff down on my phone, like, no matter what the setting is, and sometimes I forget what I was talking about, so I never come back to the joke. So what I did for tonight was I went through my phone and I wrote down everything that I had. This is all verbatim, straight up. I wrote down everything that I had that was on my phone that I thought at some point was going to be a good joke. And so what you're about to see is a direct look into my creative process. So if any of you have are prone to nausea or dizziness or just generally aren't supposed to operate heavy machinery, just prepare yourself. This is straight from the mind of Seth Chodich to you through my phone and a significant amount of alcoholism. Okay. Coldplay versus cold sores. Now I think there's a legitimate debate to be had here. I'm just wondering if someone from Speak or somebody could organize that. Just sort of a which is worse situation, Coldplay or cold sores. I mean, either way, both are embarrassing to be associated with. But I don't have tiny little Chris Martins that pop up on my lips whenever I have an outbreak, so. I can repeat what I'm about to say. This was all verbatim on my phone. Vibrators on airplanes, use them to stir cookie batter. I will tell you right now, folks, I have no idea. I really don't. That may have been the product of a fever dream, I'm not really sure. But again, I'm not making up any of this. You can look at my phone, it's there. Geppetto, a pedophile. I think that one is pretty obvious if you watch Pinocchio. The dude builds a wooden boy with the intention of bringing him to life. Someone called the FBI on that shit. Come on. Trauma comedians grew up too nice. Now this one, to put this in English, when I used to do stand-up, a lot of the comedians would tell jokes about their horrible, horrible home lives growing up. Yeah, my father beat me every day for 11 years, and my mother molested me, and my uncle sold me into slave labor, and I was a Scientologist. People, he'd be joking about this horrible, horrible things that happened to them. It's every single comedian, the funniness came from just a wellspring of misery. And I'd get up on stage I grew up in Bexley. Both my parents are lawyers. One time I asked for an N64, but I got a PlayStation. I just don't. Meeting a conspiracy theorist. I don't know where I was going with this one. What would it be like? Hi, my name is Seth. Hi, 9/11 was an inside job. It's 3L year. They should still be happy I'm wearing pants. That's just the God's honest truth right there. I mean, that's not even a joke. That's what I say every day when I wake up. Roped off corners of bar, blind spots VIP roofie. I'm sorry, folks. That actually wasn't a joke. That was my dating strategy when I was still single. Before I go, I know I promised some people I would do some bits that I did from last year. So, anybody got any requests from jokes from last year? Slow pacing. All right. Jokes so played out. All right. So where I used to work, there was graffiti everywhere. It was sort of a rough neighborhood. Someone got stabbed at McDonald's. I don't think he got enough chicken nuggets or something. But it was a bad neighborhood, and there was carvings in the sidewalk. And one day I noticed one of the carvings said the phrase, "slow pimpin'." Now, that phrase has baffled me ever since then for years. Does that mean slow down, watch out, there's pimpin' in the area? Or does that mean the pimpin' itself was slow? So is it where's my money, bitch?